It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
It's a brand new day. It is a brand new week. It is the Monday. It is showtime. Yeah, you know what time it is. Yeah, that's right. The Geno Jones Show. I am live. If you are watching me right now, I am coming to you live on my YouTube channel. Now, I need you to do me a favor. I need you and everybody you know, all your friends, your family, your foes, your friends, your enemies, neighbors, folks you don't like, folks you love, folks you can't stand, folks you don't even know. You see on the subway, on the elevator train, the L, they call it the L in Chicago. If you're on the D train in New York City, on Martyr in Atlanta, on BART in California, out there in the Bay Area, doesn't matter, wherever. Tell them they need to subscribe to the biggest and baddest and best show in the business, the Geno Jones Show. So please subscribe to my channel. Please share this and every episode and like every episode. You'll be glad you did. All right. The Geno Jones Show brought to you this week by Soulful Connection, R&B and Southern Soul and Blues artists, having an album release party happening this Friday at the La Creme Venue nightclub, bar, grill, restaurant venue, beautiful venue here in North Charleston, South Carolina. Yours truly is your host. Brand new album, got a hit single, Hey Lil Mama, and they got a Hey Lil Mama contest, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you for my sponsors for this week. If you'd like to be a sponsor or advertise, I'd love to have you. Just go to GenoJonesShow.com. Yes, I'm sorry. Geno Jones Show at Gmail. Geno Jones Show at Gmail. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel. Maybe you're looking for like the ultimate pitch man or brand ambassador. Listen, I'm the one because I'm the king. Not the king. I'm the king of pitchman. Kang. That would be K-A. Sound like it would be K-A-N-G. The king. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get the show started. All right. President Biden has done it. Yes. You're going to get a street fixed. You're going to get your road fixed. And you're going to get a bridge fixed. And you're going to get broadband internet because you live in, your ass is way out in the country. No Wi-Fi, no towers, no broadband as they call it, no internet, no Wi-Fi. Well, that's all about change. As President Joseph Robinette Biden just signed into law that infrastructure bill. So good news on that. We're going to talk about this Voting Rights Act. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. I got a major announcement next Monday about that, a major announcement. We're going to change up some things for this Thanksgiving and especially this Christmas holiday. You know, you heard the song, I was dreaming of a white Christmas. Well, we're going to be not just dreaming, but we're going to be doing a black Christmas. I'll tell you all about that. Next Monday, right here on the Geno Jones Show, a big announcement. So congratulations to President Biden. Oh, are you a fan of Chaka Khan? Did you hear the news? Chaka Khan, Stephanie Mills versus, yes, it's going to be a night for the Queens happening this Thursday, November 18th. 5 p.m. They're going to be out in Los Angeles doing the show live. Chaka Khan versus Stephanie Mills. What you gonna do for my loving? Put your body in it. Boom, 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 boom. Versus Chaka Khan, through the fire and ain't nobody, not to mention everything she did with Rufus, repping the south side of Chicago, Hyde Park Academy. Well, it wasn't Hyde Park Academy, it was Hyde Park High School and Kenwood High School, south side. Chaka Khan, Miss Stephanie Mills doing her thing, repping New York City. You do not want to miss that. A night for the Queens, taking it back to the old school. Closing arguments in this, with this crazy, you know, I have compassion to humanity, and I'm a parent. So the story, this whole Kyle Rittenhouse story and the trial, there's a part of me, the part of me that has humanity and compassion, because this he's still a boy. He was 17 when he killed 2 people. So there's a little part of me that's like, okay, this is a confused, misguided, brainwashed child that has embraced this ideology of white nationalism, because there's nothing supreme about it. I don't even call it white supremacy, nothing supreme about hate. White nationalism, that ideology, is based in hate, fear, ignorance, and cowardice. But this kid didn't come into the world like that. But now his mama, who would let him get this big AR-15 like assault style weapon, then put him in a car, drove him from Antioch, Illinois, across the border to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now the mother, and I got respect, I love mothers. My mother's watching me right now. Nobody loves their mother more than me. But my mother wouldn't. If I would have even thought of having any kind of gun in the house, she would still be beating my ass to this day right now. Let alone, okay, I'm gonna get you the gun, then I'm gonna drive you across the state line to an area where you've got civil unrest. You gonna deputize yourself? Deputy do right? Oh God. So the closing arguments were today. So this trial is going to a jury. We'll have more details. I'm gonna get some legal experts to talk about that, but it's just disturbing. And I'm not even talking about the judge today. Go back and watch Friday's episode. I talked about Judge Jackass, okay? I can't even do it with him. Judge Bruce Schroeder. This dude, if you have seen this dude on TV, he is an example. I want all African-American kids, all kids, but especially because a lot of times, black children, especially in poor working class neighborhoods, there's been a narrative and people try to make them, and society in general has tried to make them feel that they're somehow inferior. And, to be a judge, you got to be this super brainiac. If you watch this judge on television, he is exhibit A, that every judge, just like every politician, every doctor, every lawyer, not the brightest bulb in the box. If he can be a judge, anybody, and as Nelly would say, everybody could be a judge. How? Well, he was elected. That's how. But go back and watch Friday's episode. I talk about that. Now, I got to see a movie this weekend, and listen, I got to do my own movie review. That's not necessarily me. If I co-sign for a movie, it's got to be good. And I got a chance to see The Harder They Fall. Oh my God, it was on Netflix. It is a winner. Not one, but 2 thumbs up. Shout out to my man Idris Elba. Also, my girl Regina King was cold-blooded. The brother Lakeith Stansfield. So if you saw the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, movie about Fred Hampton Jr. and how he was murdered by the FBI and the Chicago Police Department. Yes, they didn't show you the part really how, because you didn't see in that movie, you never saw a character by the name of Ed Hanrahan. Well, maybe he was in there, but it wasn't a prominent role. He was the Cook County District Attorney, Ed Hanrahan. Crooked ass Ed Hanrahan. But anyway, so Lakeith Stansfield, he played the snitch, the brother, all skin folk and kinfolk. He was the black dude that basically got in trouble with the law and became a snitch and an informant for the FBI, and basically gave the FBI and the Chicago Police Department the information on where Fred Hampton Jr. was going to be staying at what time, which led to Fred Hampton's assassination, along with a brother named Mark Clark, way back in 1969 in Chicago, the west side of Chicago, right around Madison and Western Avenue. Anyway, Lakeith Stansfield was in Judas and the Black Messiah. It is an excellent movie, and at the very end, it's gonna take a twist, and you're gonna be like, oh dang, really? Wow. That's it. I'm not going to give it away if you haven't seen it, but I highly recommend you checking out The Harder They Fall. It was an excellent movie. Shout out once again to Idris Elba and Regina King. Regina King is putting in that work. She's an actress, filmmaker. She's doing it all. And Lakeith Stansfield. The whole cast was excellent. Even some new and up and coming actors and actresses. Now, speaking of movies, my guest is a 9-time author, 9 books, and an award-winning filmmaker who's got a brand new film called 3-Day Leave. Not 1, not 2, but 3-Day Leave. It's going to be released on November 18th, ladies and gentlemen. So without any further delay, I've gone on my rant. She's been very patient. She was a guest of mine when I had my Instagram show, which was a prelude to the Geno Jones Show. Ladies and gentlemen, writer, filmmaker, director, sister does it all. I want to welcome E.W. Brooks to the show. Hello, E.W. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Jones. How are you?
Well, let me just say this, because I'm looking at you, I'm looking at the shot. I love that sign and that slogan that you've got above you: work hard and be nice to people. Man, if we could just embrace that as humans, oh God, this world would be so much better. Jeez. Especially the be nice to people. I would almost flip it, especially the times that we are living in now. Be nice to people and work hard. Because if we were nicer to each other, it might be easier to work hard, because we would create a climate and an atmosphere where we supported and rooted for each other and lifted each other up instead of trying to tear each other down. I'm sorry, I digress.
No worries.
I didn't bring you on the show for that, but that message, it's just so inspirational. I hope everybody receives that message. First of all, let me congratulate you on your new movie that's going to be released this week, right? The 18th, am I correct?
Yes, thank you. And this week, I'm so excited.
And you're doing it. Wait, now, I'm a humble brag for her. The sister's doing her premiere. She ain't doing Hollywood and Vine. She not doing the Hollywood premiere. Nah, she ain't bothering with New York City. The sister is doing it Hawaiian style. Damn, I'm mad. I'm jealous. I wish I was out there. Congratulations on that. So let's just start off. So the movie takes a look at police violence, but you say you wanna push the dialogue forward. So how does the movie do that?
Okay, so the movie is thought-provoking. 2 words. Well, how do you describe your movie? Well, it's actually hyphenated, right? So 1 word, thought-provoking. That's it. This movie was created to generate dialogue, to create conversations like the one that you and I are having right now. Because when you keep in mind that we have little brown children somewhere in the world, if we continue to push the conversation, not start it and stop it, not only have it when something bad is happening, but start it and continue it, by the time our kids sit where we do, they might have a chance. So that was the purpose. We got to keep talking. You can't just talk when it's hot. We have to keep pushing. So I hope that 3 Days Leave is the kind of I know that 3 Days Leave is the kind of content that's going to push that.
So where was the movie set? What time period was it set? And is it, without giving away everything, is the central, I'm assuming if it deals with police violence, is the central character maybe a police officer or someone, maybe a young black kid or a kid of color that had an interaction with the police?
Okay, so so 3 Days Leave takes kind of like a hyperbolic view of police violence, right? So we filmed here on the island of Hawaii, which was very different because Hawaii is unlike the mainland.
Yeah.
I just saw a headline in Hawaii the other day where they were reinvestigating 6 or 7 cops for homicides while on duty. The whole police violence brutality thing is not something that's tolerated on this island. Wow. So I want to say that first. So in doing that, it really took my characters stretching themselves because they didn't really, they knew that the things happen on the mainland, right? But if it's not your immediate right now, you might not be tracking it. So it was something that my characters had to sit down with and stretch and say, wait a minute, am I okay saying these things? Am I okay doing these things? Because this is not who I am. And my main character, one of the most racist characters the most racist character in the film, in life, is married to a brown woman and has a brown son. So when I tell you it was a stretch, like, I don't want people to think I'm racist, you know? So it was that kind of thing. But everybody that participated, even though it's not the environment here where we live, they understood the mission.
Yeah.
They understood, hey, at the end of the day, why did you create this piece? Because if one conversation helped somebody else's brown child in a courtroom, then it was for nothing. It wasn't all for naught. You know what I'm saying? So that is my why, and that's my where.
Well, you, in a way, you really answered the question. I mean, you can, if you want to do a deeper dive, because my next question was, what was your inspiration to do the film? Was it a personal story in your background, or maybe someone in your family that may have been the inspiration to write this movie?
No. So like when I would say police violence came to a head, I was living in Korea at the time.
Right.
So I'm seeing all of these things happen, and other than write a letter, there's nothing I can do. I'm not on the ground. I can't go to a protest. You know what I mean? I can send my emails and I can write my letters, and I don't mind doing either. You know what I'm saying? So that was the only way I could contribute. But my husband came home one day and he had an idea and he dropped it in my lap. And I started writing the script. And you know, when I got done with the script, I let one of my former cinematographers read it, and someone else I consider appeared in the industry. They're like, you know how what was her name? Betty Wright said, "I know you're not gonna sing that song."
Right.
Well, that's how they did to me. I know you're not gonna make that movie. I'm like, yes, I am.
Oh, wow.
Because you can't talk about the issue of police violence without pulling the layers back.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it comes back to something your granddaddy told you, something his daddy told him, and something his granddaddy told him. So we talking 3-4 generations in the South. That tells you where we are. That takes us all the way back to slavery, right?
Right.
So just think about how the conversations within these type of households evolve over time, and then how they emerge in the form of police violence. So you can't pull that layer back and not hear the real words that are going to be said when nobody is listening. And that's what they couldn't understand. You want to say that? Yes, I want to say that. We can't take a look at what's being said without saying it the way people say it. And then we can talk about it, because then we can push the conversation forward. So that was my why. We gotta keep talking about it, we gotta keep talking about it.
And I'm glad you did it in an honest way. You can't sugarcoat it. It's just, it's like going to the doctor. Your doctor can't help you if he sugarcoats your condition. It's like, well, you can't. No, doc. I mean, if we got a problem, what's the problem? Give it to me straight. Okay, once we know now, how do we fix the problem?
Right.
But you can't dance around it. Now, you were talking about history, policing, and slavery. Now, I don't know if you touch on this, but I've had this conversation many times, even on this show, that people have to understand that the whole concept, local, quote unquote, police departments and local police, local law enforcement, people that even self-deputize themselves, came out of slavery. They were literally called slave patrols. And there were local people who got together and, weren't even elected, who decided they wanted to help the slave owners retrieve their property, i.e. human beings, enslaved people who had run away and gotten free. That's where the original local policing came from, slave patrols. And a lot of people do. And some of the same mentality from way back in the 1870s and 80s and 90s, you see in 2021. So
exactly. You've evolved, but it's the mentality that, they're of this color, so they're not supposed to have this.
Right.
And if they have it, it has to be through ill-gotten means. Well, where do you get that mentality? Because that's the way my daddy saw it.
That's right.
And that's the way, you know what I'm saying? So
we created this to police bodies that look like you. Just because the fact that you're in this black body and black skin, we see you as a threat. We were trained from the time that, quote unquote, policing was formed out of the slave patrols.
Yeah, it's so I know that some people aren't gonna change. Yeah. And they aren't my audience.
I love it. That's right.
Okay. This is for people who really want to do something to, again, not to do anything violent or not to join any kind of extremist groups, because that's not what I'm about. But I mean, to sit down and initiate change. You know what I mean? There are some lawyers, some doctors, some councilmen, you know what I mean? Some police chiefs that are really ready to sit down and have real conversations. You need to find out. I mean, we as concerned citizens need to find out who these people are and have the conversations.
Now, EW, I am happy for you and I'm proud of you on so many levels.
Thank
But
you.
I got to say this. And I really want to get your feedback on it because I think this is important, and I know you think and feel it's very important. But the fact that here you are, a black woman who not only wrote the movie but directed the movie is, I see that, and so I see young girls or not so young girls. I got a daughter 30, I got one that's 20. So you have, and even not so, it could be, women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, maybe who had the talent to do it. But you are opening up some more doors. I mean, I think of like Ava DuVernay, and we were talking about Regina King, and I'm sure I'm leaving off some other ones, so you will probably name it. But how important was it for you as a black woman to the fact that you were able to not just write but direct your own movie? Because heck, I'm happy and excited for you. What were some of the challenges you faced, and how important was it for you to do both?
Okay. This has been a 7 year journey. And it's been challenge after challenge, but I have to say, what got me through my faith. You know what I mean? And I admire people like Regina King, Ava DuVernay, like Queen Latifah. I admire all of these women. But one thing that my faith taught me is that if God will do it for them, guess what? He can do it for me too.
Say that.
So that kept me going because imposter syndrome in this industry is real. Because you see the lights, the camera, the flashes, and you're like, oh, but I'm still trying. But I'm taking every dime I got and I'm putting in this movie. I don't have time for the lights, the camera. And it's okay because it's not that time yet, right? So it has been a journey. It taught me about my craft. And I was so upset because it's like I've been in this thing for 7 years. Like, what's happening? I'm not gonna say upset because it made me continue to push.
Yeah.
But I'm competitive by nature. So that said, and when I say I'm competitive, I mean with myself. So I want to be better daily, right? I try to apply more discipline to my life daily and just to be more focused. So in doing that, this whole process taught me how to make a better film.
You're right. And competition is good.
Yes.
And I just here, and I'm jumping in. I apologize, but I want you to finish your thought. But here's why I'm jumping in. A lot of times, especially, I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm a man, but I understand this. Even as a black man, I still have a male privilege that a black woman doesn't have. And society, just between watching my grandmother, my mother, and my two daughters and my wife, that still society doesn't allow women, especially black women, to be competitive. Competition is a good thing. Iron sharpens iron.
It does.
You compete in a healthy, you competing is not tearing anybody else. You competing saying, you know what, like you said, if God, I want you to say that if God did it for them, he'll do it for you. But you realize that, hey, I got to put the work in and make sure that I'm being the best version of myself. If you see a good movie directed and written by a woman, I'm sure you say, hey, that was good. That's inspiration for me. Okay, let me get this pen game. Let me step my game up. So competition is good. About. So I'm sorry. Look, I'm protective. That's just I don't know, hero complex. I'm very protective of women, especially black women, because I've been fighting, which is that's a whole nother. I probably need a therapist on the show with me. Maybe that's childhood trauma. I've been fighting for women since I was 4.5 years old, fighting, protecting my mom. But it's just, having daughters, I talk to them, listen, never dim your light for anyone else. If somebody is like, oh, your light is too bright, that's their problem.
Right.
Don't adjust your light so you don't shine too bright to make somebody else comfortable. They got their own dimmer switch, damn it. Turn your dimmer switch up. And if it ain't working, get a new one.
I hear you, and I'm with you. But that's the thing about Black women in film, like just to put things into perspective, right? So I put this piece out. I certainly wanted my grandmother to see it first, but to put things into perspective, my grandmother's grandmother was given to somebody as a gift for Christmas.
Oh my God.
So this is how close to slavery my family is. So to create a piece like this and kind of watch my grandmother cringe, and then to say, wait a minute, I need to go back and create a whole context piece so people understand the message and what we're doing here. Once she understood and I explained, Grandma, look at our children, look at what we're trying to do. Like, this is what we're trying to avoid. And she understood it, but I had to put it into context for her just because of what she's been through in her life, you know what I mean? What she's known, what she's seen. So to be able to, as a woman of color, pull my grandmother forward. Because so many times we're in situations where, your grandmother may have had 15 kids and she's like, oh no, you got to stay with that man, girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes they'll pull you this way. But for me to be able to have a conversation with my grandmother and pull her this way and take her the opposite way, to have her even want to, okay, I get it. You're right. We got to make this world better for these babies. That's what it's about for me.
Oh, wow. That is so beautiful. And I'm listening to that. And EW, so you talked about your great great grandmother. You and I, we are the dreams of our great great grandparents. They went through everything they went through, and were beaten and raped and lynched and denied opportunity and couldn't read and all that. But they endured and dreamed that one day that they could have great great grandchildren that can have their own TV shows and their own media channels and write their own movies and direct it. We are the dreams of our ancestors. That's just, man, it's such a beautiful thing. And I don't know if it ever hits you like that, but when I have conversations like this, it just hits me that I'm fortunate, and I am really standing on the shoulders of my ancestors and great great grandparents who didn't have anywhere what we have in terms of opportunity. And that's why it's important that I do something with mine. And I know you feel the same way. And you're doing it. The fact that you wrote and you directed this movie, and with the story you're telling. Black women or men couldn't tell the story 50, 60 years ago, or couldn't get it financed, or couldn't get any movie house to carry it. So that's just so exciting. If you had to, in a 20-second elevator pitch, or maybe in just one sentence, you want the audience to leave this movie with what?
Okay. Can I add one thing before I jump to that part?
You can add whatever you want to add.
Okay. Because I want to get back to these 7 years, because I didn't understand the weight. But during the 7 years, I wrote, I filmed, I wrote. Now that I'm here, when my showrunner said, hey, I need a film that can, that's kind of scary, but we can put on Valentine's Day. Wait a minute. I got something. Hey, I need a drama. Hey, I got something. Hey, I need a feature. Well, guess what? I got 2 of those. So, like, when I tell you that my advice to everybody who wants to go with this industry or any other is work when nobody is looking.
There you go.
And work when everybody is partying. Work. Because when the rubber meets the road and somebody says, I need a this or I need a that, you can say, I got it. Right. You know what I mean? There you are. So that has been my journey. What would I say about this book is, I would say this is definitely a hyperbolic view on police violence, and it's art. You know what I'm saying? Again, like, don't think, and I say this, I keep saying this, don't think you know me, my political affiliation, or anything about me because you saw this piece of art. It's art. This is not so you know me. This is so you see our community, our environments, and so we can just make the world a better place. So thank you so much for giving me the platform just to say that.
No, listen, before you run, tell us about some of the actors. Who's in the movie?
Oh, nice. Okay, so we have Sam Bass, Judy Wynn, and they're kind of local celebrities here on the island from their work in Hawaii Five-0, which is a popular show here.
Wait a minute, come on. Listen, it was only a few shows way back in the day, black folks, when they didn't have color TVs watching. Hawaii Five-0 was one, Gunsmoke,
Still like Gunsmoke.
Good Times.
Yes.
Yeah, Hawaii 5-0. Oh man, that was my
Yeah.
grandparents. That was one. We only had one TV, so everybody was watching Hawaii 5-0.
But to have people who do such serious work, just take a step away because a lot of the actors that play very dramatic roles in this piece are comedic actors. And when I tell you I pulled them, I pulled everything I could out of them, right? And you can see it on camera. So I'm happy at the work that they've done to transform. I'm happy that they were open-minded enough to understand my mission and want to be a part. So I can say this is one of the most synergistic situations I've been in ever. Because that song, I understood the assignment. Everyone understood the assignment. So we hope you enjoy it. Not only will I do my premiere here in Hawaii, but you're one of the few people to know that this will actually be premiering on Comcast within the first quarter next year. So be on the lookout for it there as well.
That was my next question. So you got the premiere in Hawaii. So when will we be able to see it on like the bigger screens? Now we know it's going to be on Comcast. I guess we can watch it on demand first quarter of 2022. How many movie theaters, if any, are you doing any theaters here in the mainland?
No. So I'm gonna do a couple theaters on the mainland when I do my feature. Okay. But this premiere is really because the actors within the movie have not seen it. COVID, in Hawaii was really quick to shutter things down. So now that I can get at least 30 of them in a space, like I had to be real 1+1, like really, 30 people. But I'm really excited for them to see it and get their reactions. And then I'm going to share it with everybody else. So I'm so excited.
So the general public will be able to see it exactly when? Give us.
Oh, okay. The general public will be able to see it first quarter next year. Comcast and Tubi. So
okay.
Get ready. It's going to be out there. I can't wait for your support. And if you just want to understand or talk to me about it, hit me up. I'm on IG at EW Brooks Books.
Okay, I was gonna say, give us all your social media, and if you got a trailer for the movie on some of your social media or whatever, please let us know so we can go and watch it.
You got it, and I'm gonna send it to you. So should you decide, you can share it.
Oh well, absolutely, I will. E.W. Brooks, congratulations, writer, director. The movie, once again, it is called
3 Days Leave.
3 days leave. Like, man, it was so bad. You had to take not a 1 day, not a 2 day, but you needed to take a 3 day leave. The title alone is telling me it must have been, it must have been some heavy stuff because somebody needed to take at least 3 days off.
Or and just think about what you can do in 3 days. Think about the carnage you can create in 3 days.
That's 72 hours. Yeah, that's a lot.
And what I'll do also is I'll get you a screener because I definitely care about your thoughts. I would love your reviews. So I'll get you a screener too.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, everybody can follow you Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Give them that information again.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter and IG at EW Brooks and then books like the kind you read. So EW Brooks Books, and on Facebook, I'm just EW Brooks.
Congratulations, EW. Happy for you.
Thank you guys, sir.
Can't wait to see the movie. Thanks for your time, too.
It's time for a little content and a lot of conversation.
I'm on camera. Thank you, Mr. Director. Sometimes the director does his thing. She's so talented, and I can't wait to see this movie. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. in Los Angeles, 1:30 p.m. in Hawaii, where E.W. Brooks is right now. Can't wait to see this movie. First quarter, so it's going to be like around January, maybe February, January of 2022. Cannot wait. 3-day leave. Got to check it out. All right, shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on IG, Instagram. KLB Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Alexandria Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show, along with Bruce Gage, Alexandria, Allie Jones on Instagram, IG, Underscore is that line at the bottom. Underscore Lexi, Lexxie, space Nicole, Nicole Designs, and Bruce Gage. You can just type in the search box, Bruce Gage, Gage. Oh, the Geno Jones Show brought to you this week by Soulful Connection, R&B and Southern Soul and Blues artists. Soulful Connection, their album release party for their brand new album, BYOB, Bring Your Own Blues. Bring your own body, bring your own booty, bring your own boobies. All BYOB with the hit single, Hey Lil Mama, the album release party this Friday here in the Charleston, South Carolina Metro, North Charleston to be exact, at the La Creme venue, La Creme nightclub, bar and grill. Beautiful venue. So if you're in the area, Friday, free admission starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Friday night album release party. It's going to be fire. So thank you to Soulful Connection for being the sponsor for the Geno Jones Show this week. I love each and every one of you. Mother, you know I love you more than life itself. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I want to thank E.W. Brooks, filmmaker, writer, and director. Filmmaker E.W. Brooks. Her new movie soon to be released. First quarter on Comcast and Tubi. That's going to be hot. It's called 3 Day Leave. I love each and every one of you. I really do. One last thing before I get out of here. As always, please be blessed. See you Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live right here, The Geno Jones Show.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.